Well. Just 2 months have passed, or maybe three, between the seasons, and we're somewhat starting season 8 today with what we can actually call as a little tradition. And it's called a debut drivers race. This time, it's going to be around Spain. In season 6, we've got Silverstone on PC and Spa on PlayStation, that famous race that has seen 5 drivers crashing out on Eau Rouge and 4 finishes apparently. And in season 7, we've seen Austrian Grand Prix on both tracks, bringing in entertaining races, which were having loads and loads of drama around the circuit. My name is Wojciech Śmigowski. I am the owner and the first commentator of ERO PC F1 for this season, and also commentator for today's debut drivers race, which this time takes place around Spain, as we'll be switching very soon to the action of this Spanish Grand Prix. You'll also see something new around here, and yeah, if I was you, I would be definitely looking at it very carefully. 3, 2, 1, and we're hopping into the action of Spanish Grand Prix. As you can see, we've got full grid, absolutely full grid for today, bar 2 Indian drivers, but one can't race and the second has not replied at all. So we've got 2 German reserves. We'll go to the grid introduction very soon. But as you can see, for the first time in ERO history, we're having custom sponsor banners. And yes, you can already see Catalonia flags in the top left corner, but this is on purpose because, well, these are the regional things, like from Catalonia and Barcelona, so I have decided to leave them be. But speaking about the action, in terms of in terms of the grid, let's go through it apparently. With the Constructors Champions of Real F1 in 2021, Mercedes. Richard with the name that it will be very hard to pronounce for me, but we'll try it. The Kant. And yeah, I know what you think about it, but yeah, it's just a name. And he's not English. The Dutch driver apparently. His teammate is going to be Mackenzie Khan for today. This driver being particularly from Great Britain. Next, we're having Red Bulls with... I will not give you spoilers about the Real Hungarian Grand Prix. Rodrigo Martin, who has been featured in debut drivers race notification on post actually on Instagram and Facebook. Alongside him, Muhammad Besic, Benny Besic, sorry. I thought about that former Everton football player, if you're wondering. Continuing, we've got Ferraris of Claudio Herbert and Dawid Dzikielewski, the other driver who has been on the debut drivers race post on Instagram, which you can follow. Link is in the description. Fourth team is Maciej Dziebłowski and Marek Iwanek, Pole and Czech driver. We're speaking about Maciej, but he's definitely going to be PCF1 driver as of now. At least he says that. We'll see next week on Sunday during the PC grid reveal. We'll see every single PC driver having their slot on the grid, either if it's full-time or reserve. You actually have to get like a lap time of 1:37 in Saudi Arabia not to get in, or be clearly cheating. Anyway, in order not to get a seat. Next team is Alpine. As I have seen in one of the memes, they are painfully average. That was, I think, where you're about to answer a couple of questions, and based on that, you will get your favorite team. So I hope Samuel Trevorov and Andrew Robertson, who also are preferred teammates for next season, are not painfully average and will show some good pace around there. Continuing, let me just see how is the audio quality. It should be good. If there's any issues, tell me on the chat. Speaking of the next drivers, as you can see, first driver setting in lap times, Borna Svrnziak setting up 19.2, and Heike Malink, who is just on his out lap, are both in AlphaTauri for today. Aston Martins are 2 poles of Kacper Dzieminczuk and Maciej Kobierzewski, who's still in the pits. I don't know what the weather is, because we're just going through the grid for the last couple of minutes. Next is Williams, with Patrick Maciejczak setting up a lap of 19.2 and who's the next Dalder Bartosz Szyczulski, who's just starting his hot lap. Alfa Romeo's of Alexander Kozin, from the country of Niger, apparently, at least this is the country he represents. An ERO, the first man from Niger in the history of the league, and I mean the country in Central Africa, in case you're wondering, or somewhere around it. Evan Courtois, one of the fastest drivers on time trials at least. We'll see how about his race pace in this debut driver's race, but he's definitely setting up a good, decent lap time of 16.6. And the last ones, but not least, are Hasses of George Masuros, who's definitely backed out of his lap, and Jai Duta, who's currently in 3rd place. So that is the lineup for today. We'll go through it once again once we are actually done with the grid reveals and stuff. And George Masuros is already out in turn 9, which we'll probably see a couple of victims today. As if you're wondering, I'm currently watching out how is the chat going. Possibility of rain in the race, we have been told about it. I'm still new to all these new Steam features, but if we are supposed to show something, let's go to Heike Mulling and let's see. You can see ERO, Grid Finder, Boidomania and Discord partner, but on the right side, or actually behind us now, well, that's me. That's me on the sponsor banner. Sponsor banner has been shared to all of the DDRP drivers before the race, before the Hungarian Grand Prix. Also, I have seen that Pirelli, this is still work in progress, but I can show you at least some of the possibilities I can do. Because it is actually a fun thing to do. Of all of these sponsor banners, changing them to be about ERO, not about default Formula 1. Also, I have seen a Mercedes spinning around. And that I think is not Mackenzie, it's Richard, who spun round. Jeminchuk is out of the session. We'll invite him in coming minutes, unless someone else can do it. Also, Adam Lepage is in this lobby, so he can make some shots for his grid reveal video, which will be featured after introducing you the lowest PC division, which is probably going to be PCF 4. Next, Jeminchuk is back in the session. Kobierzewski has invalidated his lap time. Dziebłowski is now racing, or actually making a lap around Circuit de Catalunya, which has seen a bit of drama this season. With, for example, where that AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo are, turn 4, and causing also yellow flags. This is the turn where Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz have overshot the braking points, kind of, and actually that was a bit of wind. But both have gone into the gravel, recovered though, and here we have seen the disaster for Charles Leclerc. Not like if there was any race without a disaster for him recently, but still, he's got an engine issue around here and had to go back to the pits when he was peacefully leading by around 10 seconds. Is that lap from Evan? He's actually pushing very, very much around this track. He keeps the inside line. That's definitely some pace he has. Around turns 7 and 9. Let's see what his lap time is going to be. Because remember that 16.6, or maybe even better. It could be better for Drake Dempsey or Cameron Dowds if they are going to race as a reserve for this season. However, Erwin is currently doing a purple sector. As now there's a Ferrari in front of him. Let's see if he lets him past. He does not, and Irvin has to back out of his lap time. If this is a normal race, he definitely would report the man who has blocked him on this lap. But let's see, because we've still got a couple of drivers on their laps. There's lots of Polish drivers apparently. 1, 2, 3. Like Kozio is mostly Polish, but still represents the Niger. So it's 1, 2, 6 drivers from Poland plus Kozio, who's now in P8. Also Kobierzewski jumps into P15. How about Rodrigo Martins? His engineer has notified us, Rafael Ferraz on the chat, that the rain is possible during the race. So this might be another twist to this Grand Prix, which still, well, uh, sorry once again, I just missed the topic because I'm following all the things about this debut drivers race. As Maciejczak goes 4th with 18.3. Curtin is on provisional pole and it's his teammate on the lap. As Benny Besic currently around sector 1, we're following every single driver around here, trying to get the best grid position, even though this doesn't change the fact that even if you're actually starting 10th, then, or basically in top 10, you can now pick any tires you want at the start of the race. This is kind of a good change for strategy purposes. Not forcing drivers to race on old softs at the very beginning. Yellow flags in sectors 1 and 3 as Besic goes out of the track. Still manages to keep going. He just had to lift off the throttle. As you can see, he's definitely using some traction control assist. Śmigowski is also on his lap, but he's just starting. We're following the Red Bull driver, about to cross the line. The final chicane ahead of him, the final corner ahead of him, and he's definitely going for some sort of improvement, as that is the lap of 19.5, 4 tenths faster than his last one, but he's still dropped to 11th. I believe it was Dzikielewski or Swerzniak just improving themselves. Erwin is now out, as he's just starting his hot lap. Into sector 1 he goes, and let's see what is his gap. It's 68 thousandths of a second. He's very consistent in his laps. He would be having even better lap time if he was not blocked by the Ferrari ahead of him, as he nearly goes out of the track around here. Six 17.9 has been done by Kacper Jemińczuk, placing him currently on the second with 6 minutes to go in the qualifying session, so he definitely will have time for one more lap. It's 1/10 up on lap time of Erwin. You can see that's the pace of the top drivers. But what you can say else when you've got a couple of drivers doing around 39 minutes 55 seconds, and Curtin is one of those. He's crossing the line now, as he's done 1:16.5, just making him look stronger in terms of pole position and maybe even winning a race. I still know there's that Pirelli sign not being custom, but what's the problem now? Anyway, on the chat, you can definitely say, just tell who you are supporting during this race, who do you want to win. We know this has no impact in terms of pure recruitment standings, but in terms of racecraft, we can see everything. As, for example, it can change your grid place in Season 7 grid reveal, it was last season. Or this time it's Season 8 grid reveal, as Alfa Romeo Kaspander, it's Kozioł. Anyway, speaking about grid reveals, debut drivers race may change your place, or actually a tier where you will race in. We can take an example of Martin Loeb from last season, who was qualifying as an F4 driver, but after he has done 11 positions up on a space of a single lap, or 6 laps or something like this, he's definitely gone up by 11 positions. And I have decided, well, okay, maybe it would be better to give him like a reserve spot in F3 also. I see that Śmigowski is out, so maybe a short maintenance when most of the drivers are before the final laps. As I will definitely be using that maintenance screen, so maybe just a second. No, I just can't invite drivers. Live stream. Yeah. that's definitely an issue. As Sverzniak is currently in Sector 2. As he's getting purple Sector 2, but we know this isn't something we should look at. As Sverzniak goes onto the gravel, that is the end of the lap for the Alpha Tauri. As Dzikielewski is now starting his lap around Catalonia. He's now in Sector 2. And you can see there is a McLaren being stopped on track. And I guess that's Ivanek because Śmigowski just was out of the session for a moment. As now we're approaching turn 9 with one of the stars of the poster. He's 3 turns up on his lap time, placing him in maybe 8th place. We'll see how about the final sector, which is the crucial one because it has got so many slow corners. As he's now approaching the final chicane. He's dropped into 10th, as I have seen Retruski improving his lap time, but Dzikielewski outscores him surely for the 7th. Retruski has just finished his lap time. How about Benny Besic? He's 1/10 up on his lap time, placing him in P12. You can see how big is the gap between all of the drivers. Maybe let's just see this. Not this one. We'll see about leader gap. Not about Curtin just outscoring everyone by 1.4 seconds and trying to be a new max throw for debut drivers races. But the gap between P1 and P16, which is all drivers have done somewhat competitive lap time, P17 even, it's 4.1. And excluding Curtin, it would be minus 3.2, even 2.7. As Besic is now in the final chicane. He was 1/10 up in Sector 1 as far as I'm aware. He's now crossing the line and getting position still number 13 because he has improved by so little. He didn't even manage to outscore Robinson. As Retruski has got a 5-place grid penalty for collision with Sverzniak, and I don't know what happened there. Is there wing damage for the Williams? It is on the right side. Even though it doesn't have such a big impact to have a slight wing damage in this game, doesn't change the fact that this qualifying for Retruski is now ruined and he will start from P10 at best. And there is still Herbert who can improve. There's still Martin who's on his lap time. As the Red Bull's definitely improving. He's now using DRS and we'll see what his lap time is going to be. It's going to be 20.5, 1/10 up. As it still is P16 for him. Śmigowski is now doing his lap. Dzikielewski will not make any more laps today as he's retired in the pits. We've got Śmigowski who's still warming up his tires, having Aston Martin right behind him, but he's also on the out lap. Curtin is slow, so it means he will not improve his lap time. Jemienczuk is starting his lap with half a minute to go in this qualifying session, which is very close to the line. We're very close to have time being up, and loads of drivers are just warming up the tires. For example, in Sector 3 you can see there is a bit of traffic around. As Herbert has improved himself or not, Retruski is definitely letting all of the drivers pass before going back to the pits and finishing off this qualifying. As there's a Mercedes inside of him, that's Mackenzie Khan, time is up on this qualifying. He's now approaching the final corner and it's not going to be an improvement because, I mean, he might have done a mistake in, for example, Sector 2 or maybe Sector 3, we don't know at the moment, as the Khan is spun around. And he's on the gravel and he's going the right way, thankfully. But he has to watch out for Jemienczuk, who's got purple Sector 2. And he's now approaching the final sector. Kasper Jemienczuk has a chance to secure his front row for today's grid. He's now approaching the final 3 turns around Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. He nearly spins around, he saves the car though. But we'll see if he has got such a big margin, he can still improve his lap time. No, he does not. It's 18.2, so this has lost him plenty of time. Maybe Maciejczak will be the one to get a bit better result around here. He is now approaching the final 3 corners. This chicane that is requested from many of the Formula 1 fans to be changed. But how about Maciejczak? Did he handle it? well, he did, because he's going 18.0, placing himself on the 3rd place. This is a Polish 2-3 at the moment. No, it's Śmigowski doing 17.3 and placing himself in the 2nd place. And Kobirzewski stays P19. That is the end of the qualifying session for today. Just for your information, why did we start around 13, not at the 0.4 PM UK, as you might have thought? Well, the reason is we've got Hungarian Grand Prix. Well, a couple of drivers will have to change their flags for the official races. Examples of there is no Cyprus flag, but Martin has to, also Robinson, Herberts, Ferencniak, Dzikielewski, Duta, Kant, Dekant, apparently Maciejczak, and Zdziebłowski. That's about it for today's qualifying session. As now we are ending poll. Most of you have decided by the poll that it will be Maciej Zdziebłowski winning today's Grand Prix, which is not such bold perspective, because he's 2nd in this qualifying. We'll be having formation lap with realistic, or actually immersive, placing on the grid, which means drivers have to set themselves on the grid. There will be no AI doing so. As it's 13 seconds to go for drivers to pick their strategies. We're starting the race pretty soon. As the formation lap is about to go, drivers, if they look behind, they can see the stars of ERO, the community stars. So there's, for example, Drake Dempsey, who is 99.9% racing next season. But he's the one liked in the community, so he's there. And he's also a runner-up of ERO Season 6, and also got 3rd place in Season 7 despite racing half the races. This is how far we are from esports. We're not. We've got still a couple of competitive drivers. Like Tom Moyer is coming back this season. As let's see how about the strategies. As the only driver who has decided to start on soft is Claudio Herbert. Most of the field has decided to go on mediums, apart from Benny Besic, Alexander Kozieł, and Erwin Curtin. So both Alfa Romeos have decided to go on hards. As we're about to have green flags. Yes, we are about to have green flags. You can see we're already in Sector 3, and we'll see how drivers will behave in terms of placing themselves on the grid. Zdziebłowski, especially on these tires, medium tires, can attack Curtin into turn 1. There is kind of a long straight ahead of the drivers, which may bring us some surprises today, and I hope it will be no carnage, to be honest. As we're about to start the debut drivers race Spanish Grand Prix, being flooded with this custom sponsor banners. Curtin has parked himself too late. I have seen also a Mercedes driver of Richard Decant who has decided to park kind of focusing himself on on the middle of the track. Herbert has exaggerated it so much, he's now standing still and dropped back. Kobirzewski, Maling also have decided not to place themselves correctly, so we're having the start of the Spanish Grand Prix in debut drivers ERO race, and it's lights out, and away we go. We can see that Curtin has a very slow start, and Zdziebłowski is already taking the lead into turn 1. Maciejczak is also gonna hit, as well as Dimitrov at Decant. And Evan Curtin is already down to 6th place, or even 5th at the moment. side by side with his teammate or a Mercedes of Richard Decan. There's a free white into turn 3. Śmigowski has gone away from the rest of the field. Dziemińczuk is second. And as you can see, well, there is not so much chaos in this first lap of this race, despite there is yellow flags in sector 2. That's Trevorov and Kobiejewski having an incident between themselves, as Richard Decan is currently in the 3rd place, but Erwin Curtin has got a blinder, not even a blinder, that was a howler of a start, as Arava says in his My Team Career mode, and he's dropped to 6th place. Claudio Herbert, the great strategy for at least the beginning of the race. The Red Bull spun, and that's Benny Besic in turn 7. There will be no safety cars at the moment as he's just spun. Malling is spinning around as well. This is a tricky circuit. We can see a couple of corners have already got a couple of victims. Thankfully ending up only in spins as of now. Śmigowski peacefully leads the way by around a second ahead of Dziemińczuk, then Richard Decan, then Maciejczak, then Jajduta looking for a move on Patryk Maciejczak. He is using ERS. He's using overtake ERS. Maciejczak covers up the inside, and Duta has to go a long way around the outside to get the 3rd place. He 4th place, sorry. He's still in the inside. Maciejczak gives him a little bit of room to work with, and he's still in the 4th place, the Williams driver. He's doing a great defense around turns 1 and 2. Kobiejewski is the first one to retire from the session. I don't know what happened out there, but we'll see. It's causing out the virtual safety car. There might be a full safety car pretty soon, as long as we see a yellow dot on the pits, and we don't see. So that's a virtual safety car. Kobiejewski is out of the session, the first driver who will not finish the race today. Ends up in the barriers, or actually in the wall. As we're about to restart the race, Jajduta will look for attack for 4th place on Patryk Maciejczak. But Erwin Curtin has got a howler of a race pace. This back to green flags. We're back racing. Dziecielewski fights Sverzyniak in the final sector. He's gone to Ninf using that restart perfectly. But how about Claudio Herbert? He's actually close to Erwin Curtin, and he might be thinking about attacking the pole sitter. He's got a lap of 16.5. You can see Curtin has definitely got that qualifying pace. ZRS is enabled because we're now lap 3. And we'll see if Herbert, he's definitely using ERS. How about Duta? He's decided to also use ERS. He's looking for a space this time again around the outside of Patryk Maciejczak. Can the Williams driver cover up the inside line this time? It's not. He has been a little bit pushed off the track, but it doesn't matter as he's been overtaken. Now he's gone wide with Curtin as well. Bob losing a place to Claudio Herbert. Now side by side they are into turn 4, and we'll see. Will Curtin force a space on the inside? No, he will not. Now he's going to go down the inside. No, he's not going again. He's staying on the 7th place. Erwin Curtin still with a howler of the first 3 laps, as we can see. Dziecielewski fights Khan for the 8th place into turn 7, and he's done the move on the inside line. As Curtin now forces a long way around Maciejczak, and he's gone into 6th place. Now he'll be looking for a space to get Herbert, who's got no DRS. That's why he's a bit faster than the Ferrari driver. Williams of Maciejczak still fights Dziecielewski, this time for position number 7. And Dziecielewski has to back out of it as of now, but he'll still have a chance on the next DRS straight. Curtin right out the gearbox, yellow flags. That's Richard Decan, who spun round and will be losing loads and lots of places. Thankfully, he didn't end up just like Bell van der Beek in yesterday's amateur debut drivers race on PlayStation. Now Curtin makes a move on Claudio Herbert, and he's back on the 4th place. Now his next target is apparently Jajduta. As now we've got yellow flags again. That's Jajduta in sector 1, same as Richard Decan yet again. Curtin has the purple sector 1, but he's losing 4.2 seconds to the 2 leaders from Poland. There's a big DRS train happening as of now, apart from the top 2 drivers at Curtin, as Claudio Herbert has now to defend from Patryk Maciejczak, who's back into 5th place after 2 spins of Duta and Kant. And we'll see if he can make a move around the outside of Claudio Herbert. No, maybe a little bit of a switchback into turns 10 and 11. Not quite yet, but we're closely watching this fight for position number 4. As now Wojciech is using a bit of his ERS, also DRS. He might be going for a move. Yes, he is going for a move. He's now into 4th place. And that is the job done for the Williams driver. If you're wondering why if Williams overtakes Ferrari, it's not the first practice of Hungarian Grand Prix. We're just racing other equal performance cars. As Bosoros makes a move on Koziu for position number 10. And that singular point, unfortunately not for the recruitment standings. As J Duta pits. And it's going to be a change to hard tires already. He's going for a massive undercut. If we can call it an undercut, apparently. On the rest of the field. He's going to come out on the last place. As Curtin is currently around 3/10 up on his lap time. We'll see how he handles it around now. Because he's slowly closing up on Kasper Jemińczuk, who's around 3 seconds behind Maciej Śmigowski, peacefully leading the Spanish Grand Prix. As Claudio Herbert is watching the battle, actually may try to fight Dawid Zikielewski into Sector 1. Both of the Ferrari drivers will have DRS, possibly. Yeah, oh, but just a second. Zikielewski has done a mistake, and this forces him into a full spin, same as Claudio Herbert. Just a grander strategy from Ferrari. Because this is what... Okay, that is a spin number 3, and that is Marek Iwanek. Yeah, too much of these spins, guys. I told you, minimal tire pressure. Also, Trevorov has been overtaken by Rechulski into position... Trevorov has overtaken Rechulski for position number 12. As the fight between them is very, very close. Between the Williams and the Alpine. Can he make a move around the outside? No, he will not. He's just going to stay behind. Maybe waiting for the next DRS straight to make a move. Around the outside, possibly? We'll see how it will go. But it's definitely for the next DRS zone. Sverzak on the back of Mackenzie Khan. As they are approaching turns 10 and 11, this turn 10 has been slightly reprofiled for the 2021 season. And has been added recently to the game with F122. We've seen the old layout of Spanish of this Circuit de Catalunya. In this game we're having a correct one. Also this little bit of a sausage yellow curve. Sverzak on the back of Mackenzie Khan. This should be an easy move around the outside if he uses a bit of ERS. Yes, he does. And he goes for position number 5. As Curtin is now going around the turn 4, chasing down Kasper Jemińczuk. As we're also watching the battles on the minimap of Trevorov Rechulski and between also Herbert and Iwanek. We've seen 3 spins on the singular lap from the Ferrari, McLaren and the other Ferrari, but Zikielewski is at least 10th. And he's on the DRS of Alexander Koziu as of now, who's on the hard tires. We'll probably see many of the strategy twists around here. As Erwin Curtin is now 2.2 seconds behind Kasper Jemińczuk. As he's doing a purple lap, it's 1.8 of a gap between him and Kasper. As there's another spin, that's Ashley Robinson, who was spun round in the final corner yet again. We're having a spin. He's rejoining by the grass. He avoids the curb. Martins has been disconnected from the session as well, so that's a free position for both Alpines and Williams behind him. Until he joins, at least, that is. As Khan is still right at the back of Mackenzie Khan. Yellow flags are caused this time. Not by Rodrigo Martins, it's Ivane going to the pits. I don't know what's going on here. Because, well, that's Kozio. That's Kozio who spun round in turn 3. And he's now going still in the 9th place, but it doesn't change the fact he's now having Kreczulski right within his DRS. As we can see, Mackenzie Khan still losing a bit of time to Borna Swirzniak. It's now 8 tenths of a gap. If he makes a little bit of a slower pace than Borna, if he has a little bit slower of a pace, he'll definitely be getting no DRS, but he will have DRS this time around. And we'll see if he can make a move, or actually get close to the Croatian driver. As Erwin Curtin is now around 1.2 seconds behind Jeminchuk. Just as a fun fact, well, Śmigowski and Curtin are both racing with line only, and Jeminchuk has no assist, so we can see a little bit of a difference between these two assists, as Jaiduta gets 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, and this must have been for slightly cutting the final chicane. As Jaiduta, no, Clive Herbert enters the pit, so at the end of his hard stint, now he's going to mediums. Is he trying to do a soft medium or soft medium soft? That's very interesting to see. Swirzniak has done a big mistake around here, losing him loads of time. Now Khan is very close to him. Now he can use a bit of ERS to get closer to the AlphaTauri, but he's still close, but not enough to think about the move. As we're entering lap 10 of the race, Erwin Curtin is now less than a second to Kasper Jeminchuk. Yellow flags in Sector 3 are caused by Borna Swirzniak, who's just been recently fighting with Mackenzie Khan. Now he's behind not only him, but also Musuros and Dzikielewski, so that is a couple of places lost for the Croatian driver. Now he has to get back on the race. There's a huge spin from Kasper Jeminchuk in turn 3, causing him losing not only a place to Erwin, but also to Pedro Maciejczak. The gap between him and Mackenzie Khan is still a couple of seconds, but you can see his tires are overheated. He has to watch out. He's now on the gravel. He's going to be overtaken by the Mercedes, and there's another spin in Sector 3. That's Benny Vesic. Overtaken now by AlphaTauri, who's going to the pits. So not quite overtaken. But Jeminchuk now lets past Mackenzie Khan. He knows he has to cool down these tires before getting to race properly. He's having another near spin. A close call now. He has to get past. Has to let past George Musuros. As he spins round again. Now he loses a place also to Dzikielewski, as Jaiduta gets another penalty for exceeding track limits. Now it's for 3 warnings, not a single one. Kozio has Robinson right behind him. Actually, Robinson very close to the man from Niger, or also Poland as well. As Kozio nearly spins it again, we can see there's more spins than overtakes apparently. As Aston Martin of Jeminchuk is in the pits to change his tires, probably into hards. No, to fully retire for the session, so there must have been some sort of floor or maybe rear wing damage for him, which caused him to retire from the session. This is why the yellow flags are out, but we'll not see any virtual or full safety car. Maciejczak now is going through turn 7 and 8 because there's a little bit of fighting happening around here. The only fight we can actually call a fight is between Kozio and Robinson, and there are there's a 4 tenths of a gap between these two. Robinson's getting closer and closer to the man on hard tires. Still, mediums are better in terms of grip, but it doesn't change the fact, well, Kozio handles them very well indeed. As Śmigowski makes the fastest lap as of now. How about Erwin? He's not improving, so we'll see. Can Kozio be overtaken by Robinson? Not this time around. We'll wait for the next DRS straight We'll just wait for it, and we'll see if the Alpine driver can make a move. He's trying to have a look around the outside, but it doesn't change the fact that he's still behind Alexander. As now Kozio has done a little bit of a mistake also. I can see clouds around the track, making a little bit of a twist. As Kozio weaves about a bit in front of Drake Dempsey's eyes. And Drake Dempsey, I guess he approves this defense because Kozio is still ahead of Ashley Robinson. Into turns 2 and 3 now. They are still very close to each other. We have seen Alpine defending very well last year in Hungarian Grand Prix. But it's not this time. It's the Alfa Romeo now defending from the Alpine, so Alpine has to attack, and we'll see if Alpine can handle attacking very well as well. We know they can defend, maybe not in today's Grand Prix, but on the last one definitely. I mean, the last Grand Prix, there's a spin of Richard Decant. Whose race has just gone into the disaster now, as he's been going further, and now he's spun a couple of times, and now is P14. We've been told that there is still a chance of rain during today's Grand Prix by Rafael Ferraz on the stream chat. We'll see how it affects the driver's strategies. Kozio, the Decant is out of the session as well, so he might have been just disconnected. But we're following the fight between Robinson and Kozio. The clouds are coming, and we're definitely going to have rain sooner. Kozio has been having a little bit of a lag spike. It doesn't change the fact he will still be ahead of Ashley Robinson and still stay on the 6th. That's a bit of a decent performance from Kozio still. He's got these 12 lap old hearts and still manages them decently. With only one spin today, placing himself, well, on position number 6 as of now. His teammate is trying to chase down Śmigowski, but he isn't doing it quite fast at the moment. We'll still follow this battle for position number 6 because, well, we can see maybe these two drivers will race together on the same tier. Because as of now, I can tell you that there's a spin of Wojciech in the final chicane, but let's see if Ashley can make a move. No, he does not. But what we can say about these two, well, I meant assists, and in terms of assists, we're probably notice that the first tier will have line only allowed as an assist, as can classify the penalty into the pit lane. Also, Rafael, I cannot invite Rodrigo Martins. I tried the same with Śmigowski, but I simply can't. The game does not allow me, you can just see around now. As the rest of the tiers, because I told that tier 1 will have line only, and the rest of the tiers will be likely to have all of the assists available. As Robinson stays behind Kozio for another time. This is just Lewis Hamilton and Pierre Gasly and Imola this year. Just a reminder to subscribe to the channel and to like this live stream, so algorithm of YouTube knows which league is the best one to follow. As we're closing also to 1,000 subscribers, and we'll definitely be seeing a bit of a drama around here. Maybe let's try again if I can invite people. No, I can't. If I click the square button, because I have the PlayStation controller, I can just switch the hints on the bottom. As Wojciech goes to the pits, Kelton has done the fastest laps. Śmigowski is lapping his teammate. As Malik has been already lapped. Masurus has got that bit of a race pace, and he's also in the pits. As Kozio nearly spins round, we'll see if Robinson can make a move. There is a Red Bull spinning round in Sector 2, that's probably Besic. As Masurus has been now overtaken due to, well, pitting. Javorov also gets 5-second time penalty. Robinson stays out. He still relies on the DRS he gets from Kozio. As Robinson still half a second Duta is now 6 tenths behind Wojciech. The clouds are definitely here, and I can call it cloudy now around Circuit de Catalunya and over the Circuit of Catalonia. Wojciech loses 36 seconds to Curtin and Śmigowski, so we can see who will fight for the title next season. Can you just give me a second? I will be back. Should be all good now, as Ashley Robinson still behind Alexander Kozio and still relies on his DRS. And it's like still. And he's now 9 tenths behind Alexander, so he definitely has to use that bit of DRS. Also, my advice is not to get time penalties for exceeding track limits. Still, this is the first one for Ashley. Eight tenths of a gap between Kozio and Robinson. But the gap between Śmigowski and Curtin, sorry, not Śmigowski and Curtin from Wojciech apparently is just amazing. Sferniak is around in turn 2. We'll see more spins today, especially when the rain comes, because it's coming, definitely. I can tell by the weather. Anyway, the rain is coming. I'm telling you. We're on lap 17. We have been told there's a possibility of rain during the race. But it should have been near the end of the race as far as I'm aware. Now we're in the middle of the race and we're still having it. As now Robinson uses a bit of ERS, but looks like Kozio has got that bit of straight lanes, and he has got loads of ERS to manage, to play with. Not like the Alpine driver. He can use that to defend from the Alpine. He's still putting in a great strategy work for the 4th place. As Śmigowski and Curtin are basically far away from the rest of the field, and I'm afraid the half of the grid has been lapped. Both Aston Martins are out of the session, as well they have already retired. But you can see a bit of fighting around here, as Śmigowski now laps Trevorrow as far as I'm aware. Yeah, he's been lapped by the McLaren. Would be cool if you showed us that there is a gap of a lap, not interval. Hello? Never mind. As yellow flags in Sector 1 are caused not by Bornas Sferniak, that's Smalling. Spun out it again. Just let the David driver race, no pressure. You can spin as many times as you want, just do it less. On the official league races. Actually, don't spin at all. Just keep it clean. Śmigowski is managing these tires though, because you can see he's on 70 laps of the mediums. His main goal is probably to wait for the Inter tires. As of now. Yellow flags for a moment, but I'm not sure what that was apparently, as we can see Wojciech going to the pit. Not waiting for the weather conditions to get worse. Kozio is still ahead of Robinson. He's still managing his tires. He's still managing to keep the driver behind him. Mackenzie might join the party soon, because he's now 2.9 seconds ahead. Same as Jai Duta, who's also very close to the Mercedes driver. Red Bull of Martins and Williams of Wojciech are both in the pits. Curtin sets up the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, with around 3 seconds of the gap. Śmigowski, as of now, is now 2.7 seconds ahead of Curtin. We know that these medium tires are now wearing out. They are definitely in the packaging territory. I can just remember season 6 when Diogo Moraes has got a puncture and around 70% mediums, which is 21 laps. He was my teammate for that race as a reserve in F2. Just imagine, he was F3 champion on season 6. with 5 races to go. As the gap between Curtin and Śmigowski is now 2 seconds. Definitely Śmigowski is now just waiting for the rain to appear. Just waiting for these raindrops. We'll see if they will come at any point. As Jai Duta makes a move on Mackenzie Kant, he has decided not to lift behind him, not to get some sort of a train. He's decided to try himself, get close to Robinson and Kozieł. And this definitely may bring some stuff to this race. Duta's massive undercut is actually working, because he's now 6th. And he can race on these cards as long as he wants. Yellow flags in Sector 3 are caused by Benny Besic having troubles on the final chicane. Also, the gap between Wojciech and Curtin, this is just amazing. This is now 43 seconds. The top 2 is... they're miles ahead from the rest of the grid. It's actually... yeah... what I can say from my experience, I can see that Kozieł may be lapped. No. Kozieł is right ahead of us. But it might be Reczulski and Sferzniak who are going to get lapped. No raindrops around Spain still. Still it's dry, despite being cloudy. Robinson has to make a move now on Aleksander Kozieł if he doesn't want to have troubles with Jay Duta. He has no DRS, so it probably means no move around the outside into turn 1. No, he still stays behind. The defense of the driver from Niger is just amazing. He just plays with him, and Jay Duta will try to make a move down the inside into turn 4, and he makes it around the down the inside. And now he's ahead of the Alpine driver. He has decided, no, I will not waste time behind them. I will show Mr. Robinson how to overtake. As Curtin is now in the lead of the race, ahead of Maciej Śmigowski. He's now confirmed the leadership. This is just pure speed from the Frenchman. Kozieł will now try to defend from Jay Duta. This time it's not such an easy opponent, as of now at least, because, well, Robinson was just staying behind, maybe lacking that bit of DRS, the comfort zone that DRS gives the driver. You can still have some bit of a straight line speed, but Jay Duta is not going to waste time probably. He's using DRS. How about Kozieł? He's not using overtake. He knows that there's that straight line speed for Jay Duta, and he's been overtaken for the position number 5. But now, as soon as Duta doesn't go away, he's having... wow, that's another spin in Sector 3. But he will have DRS, or maybe he can have DRS from Mackenzie Kant, because you can see he's now about to make a move down the inside into turn 4, and he makes it down the inside. Not quite yet, but he was very close from finishing the move. He will still stay 6th though. Śmigowski is in the pits. And yeah, these are raindrops. And he's putting it into tires. Yeah, there's definitely rain around the track. We've just missed that. It's raining officially around the Circuit of Catalonia, or actually in the Circuit of Catalonia. The conditions have changed, and we'll see how much time Śmigowski will lose on these inter tires, because these are conditions not ready for inters yet. He knows he will most likely finish 2nd, or at least 2nd, because the gap between him and Wojciech is like 40 seconds, 47 seconds before the pit stop. And he doesn't look like losing time as of now. Under these tires overheat, of course. Because the moment when you have to pit is when DRS is disabled. DRS is still enabled, or at least when Mark Presley tells you that they're not certain about the conditions. Mackenzie Kant spins round. No more fighting for position number 4, apparently, because Duta and Kozieł have gone to the pits. Kant is now under pressure from George Mesurus. Duta is going for the inter-tires, same as Kozieł, so... was this strategy worth it? Well, definitely not as much as double spin, because it's Ivanek and Trevorov spinning at the same time in Sector 3 turn 10, and Besic has got no front wing, so the back of the grid definitely has fun. And we'll see now if Śmigowski can make a move on Irvin Curtin undercutting him. Because Curtin has gone into Inters as well. Is it enough of a pace for Maciej to get Irvin? No, it is not. He'll be way behind Irvin. It's going to be around 4 seconds. Which equals with the fact we're getting a winner today. From France, not from Poland. But still, Śmigowski has got a decent, very decent pace around here. Ivanek is also pitting. But I guess he's still on the soft tires, so he thinks that there's not time for Inters yet. Some drivers are in Inters, we'll see how Maciejczak and Rubinson are also pitting, so everyone is now going to pit. Yellow flags in sector 1. I don't know what's the reason though, because I can't see a single driver around there. Dzikielewski 5-second appetite for speeding in the pit lane. Ivanek is behind Besic, and he spun around, so I guess this... Yeah, these are the conditions for Inters now. We'll see they've got equal tires, just a difference of 1 lap. Irvin Curtin and Maciej Śmigowski. The gap is 3 seconds, and he's slightly regaining. At least he was, as of now. As DRS has been officially disabled, this means no more slick tires. They are not working anymore. The top 10 is likely to finish on the same positions as they are right now. But the gap between top 2 and Maciejczak, this is just ridiculous. And since I spoiled the time penalties, there you go. Well, let me see. The gap is what? Yeah, Richard the Kant has been lapped, so every single driver until 10th place, until 9th place, including 9th place, has been lapped. Yellow flags again. This time it's Marek Ivanek. Softs are not working. That's all I can say about these tires. Śmigowski is keeping up with Curtin, so yeah, sometimes he goes, he loses, sometimes he gains. It's about 2.9 to 3.1. He's got better exit of turn 9 though than the Frenchman leading the pack as of now. They have just gone away from the rest. As yellow flags in sector 3, is this Dzikielewski or Herbert spinning around? I'm not certain about it. Definitely Dzikielewski because Herbert is lapped. No. I'm not sure apparently. With all of these gaps being so big. If drivers were in one train, that would be better to see. We can see some sort of a dry line also on this track. As Mercedes of Richard Decant is ahead of lapped Marek Ivanek. The pace differences around here are huge, but it might have been also consistency issues with all of these spins we have seen today. We've got 6 in a single lap in Abu Dhabi in last social race. Can you imagine? Jaituta peacefully driving for the 4th. He might be still going for the 3rd place. At least on track, he still has penalties to deal with. Which means he will not drop because he's got 6 seconds. But Kozio is not really gaining on him. Yeah. If there's going to be a battle, it's definitely going to be between Khan and Dzikielewski. It's still doable. But Khan will probably wait the penalties. But Duta and Maciejczak. This is the one we're looking at as of now. Also, yellow flags in sector 3 when I was about to drink some water. As that's a spin from an Alpha Tauri, and I believe that's Malink. Yeah, it is. It's Śmigowski Curtin, the gap of 3.3 seconds now. It has gone up a little bit. But Curtin cannot help himself with the RS. He nearly spins out. He loses the car in turn 3. This means, yes, Śmigowski is going to regain some bit of that lap time. It's 3.0. He saved it beautifully though. Kept the tires alive. He kept his car alive in this end of sector 1. But the spin of Williams, so Bartosz Rzeczulski is the definite one. He's definitely spun around and he'll be losing a place to Claudio Herbert. It's still P11. Kozio with great tire management because he's fighting for 5th place now. Actually, he's cruising on the 5th place because remember that Robinson and Dzikielewski, these two have time penalties. Malling also earns a time penalty. But at least we're happy to see him trying. Despite the time him and Ivanek are losing, they're still going. They're actually practicing the race pace because this race does not change the impact of recruitment standings unless you are grade A dirty driver or grade A cheater or have grade A potato internet, you're fine. You can be slow. Slow and clean driver is definitely better than fast and dirty driver. Śmigowski is still around 3 seconds behind Curtin, but the gap between these two isn't too big. Lap 27 of the Spanish Grand Prix. Curtin has been having a great pace, and we've got two Red Bulls fighting each other. Benny Besic and Rodrigo Martins, they are going side by side into the final couple of corners for position number 14. This is not where we were expecting Red Bulls. Also, Mackenzie Khan has been overtaken by Dzikielewski. He was thinking about the move down the inside. There's plenty of action around now in the Spanish Grand Prix. We're watching Red Bulls now. We have to switch for Ferrari and Mercedes. Let's maybe switch to Rzeczulski and Herbert. Rzeczulski definitely has a bit of a later breaking point comparing to the Portuguese driver, but we'll see if he can make the move done, as Herbert, I mean, covering up the inside, not letting the move happen. But now, Rzeczulski has been having a better exit, and will now try to go down the inside into turn 7. Will Herbert leave enough space? He will, and will still defend from the Williams driver. Impressive. As Mackenzie Khan has to let past Erwin Curtin, same has Dawid Dzikielewski, but yeah, he's overtaking in order to get Dawid Dzikielewski. I mean, this is just amazing what is going on for the battle for the 7th place. Just let him past the Alfa Romeo. He's now complaining about the blue flags. He's losing a bit of time because he's now 2.6 seconds ahead, of Maciej Dziebłowski. This is where he lost big time. It's a half second. Maciej gets 3 second time penalty. This definitely helps out Mr. Duta a bit, as he's still catching up. Now Curtin has to lap Dzikielewski. He's making it work, not quite yet, as now he's ahead of him. These two drivers are fighting so hard they forget about the blue flags, even though we're having drivers lapped until position number 7. These two are miles ahead. Dziebłowski is gaining and gaining on Erwin because he's now 2.2 seconds behind the leader. You know, can see him in the same shade, that same corner. Duta is now about to make a move on Patryk Maciejczak. This will be for the final podium place, but also remember that Duta has to go away by 3 seconds from the Williams driver in order to not make a double Polish podium. As you can see, Maciejczak goes a bit deep into turn 4 on the exit, like he's going way too much outside of with the outside line. Herbert fights Swarzniak into turns 10 and 11. The bang wheels, they still keep it clean though, they still keep it on track. And Swarzniak seems like to be ahead of the Ferrari. Also, Masuros has been overtaken by Richard Decant, who's recovering now from a couple of spins. As Masuros fights his car in order to keep it on track, as now Dziebłowski is losing time. He's waiting for this driver to let him pass. Now he's 3 seconds behind Evans, so all the time he has regained due to blue flags mess, now he's losing it. Well, I mean, ignoring the blue flags or driving inside of the driver for 1 sector is like 10 seconds. 20 seconds equals race ban. We'll be forcing some stewarding, but this will not be as important as in the official races, as Śmigowski is 2.9 seconds. Maciej, we've got no DRS on the interconditions. Do you really wait for these drivers to give you DRS? This is not worth it. Now he's getting overtaken. Mackenzie can. No, he's quite not. They are still side by side. They're actually inside each other. Well, this will be first in the regular season. Just mind the fact that this might be the first league race in a couple of drivers' careers. As Śmigowski gets 3 seconds time penalty again, now I can say Mackenzie Khan is confident about getting 7th place. As Duta is now very close to Maciejczak, he's having better exit of turn 8. Now he has to follow the Williams during the DRS straight to get a bit of slipstream. Maybe he'll think of a move on the next laps. It's the dying laps of the Spanish Grand Prix. We're on lap 30 of this event, of this race. And Duta has to get ahead of Maciejczak as soon as he can. Otherwise, even if he overtakes him, it will be too late because of the 3 seconds more of time penalties he has. He might be appealing his one though, as now he'll not have any DRS because, well, we're racing under raining conditions. Like, it's raining. But he will still not get ahead of Maciejczak. You can see Catalonia is just like Hungaroring, or Monaco. You can defend greatly around here. You can have great defending. As Maciejczak has a bit of a moment, this is where Duta can gain, but he also has a moment, goes a bit outside with 2 wheels off the track. The gap between Śmigowski and Curtin is around 5 seconds, so we don't really fold that battle. Śmigowski, well, if this was official race, I would see thousands of reports on the blue flags. Instead, we'll follow Duta and Maciejczak. Duta tries to go around the outside of the Williams, and he keeps it on the track. Both are keeping it on the track. Both keep it clean. Into turn 9, will Duta go down the inside and go? There's a contact between these two, which is 100% fault for Jai. And now these two are losing a minute, also missing a part of a front wing. Duta is definitely. How about Patrick Maciejczak? These two have just given a podium for Kozio, probably. Maciejczak has got a whole front wing, but this move was not the one you would like to see from a driver who has such pace as Duta. There could have been better places to make these moves, as Śmigowski is losing more and more time. I wonder, well, when the game will execute the penalties for blue flags. As there's a fight for position number 7 in the final corners. Śmigowski is finally ahead of these two. Finally! We're approaching lap 32, the penultimate one of the Spanish Grand Prix. As well, everyone until position 7 has been lapped, and we might see position 6 also being lapped. Yes! Because it's Robinson being lapped. Kozio has also been lapped. Only 4 drivers are not lapped in this race. And Maciejczak has to keep within 8 tenths of a 6 tenths of a second, half a second, 4 tenths behind Duta to get his podium. It's some sort of redemption or revenge. Ivan Curtin is now losing is now 6.3 seconds ahead of Śmigowski, and we're probably seeing a calm ending to this race today. As well, Curtin is an open course to win this Spanish Grand Prix, which is a pretty decent track for racing, I'll say, because, well, this is not like a place where you cannot actually leave space into any corner like Imola, or it's not street track like Monaco, Singapore, Jeddah, or it's not a place that brings chaos like Spa or Silverstone. At least Silverstone brings in positive chaos, because it is a season. That's why it is the season opener. well, we're actually having a good track for the driver's race. The next season, probably Hungary. But this is just my first thought of a debut driver's racetrack. Now the gap between the top two is 6 seconds. 6 seconds. So you can see how much time Śmigowski has lost due to blue flag, the back markers. As Robinson is now right behind Kozio. And Duta with Maciejczak have not given away the podium to the Alfa Romeo driver because, well, they have decided not to pit. It's dying laps of the race, it's the final lap. Somali gets another 3-second time penalty. We know how it around ends up on the checkered flags, so maybe let's see. Yellow flags in sector 2 are caused by an Alpha Tauri, possibly. That's Borna's Firzniak. No, it's the other one of Maling. Tires, well, everyone is on around 10 laps old Intus. And penalties? 6, 3, 3, 8, 8, couple of 3-second time penalties. Besic makes a move on Herbert, but Herbert re-overtakes him into turn 4. As now Besic will try to go down the inside it again. Curtin officially wins the Spanish Grand Prix, and I have lost track of that. Śmigowski will finish second, probably angry at all of these drivers who have not decided to let him lap. Also, just a nice banging wheels with the winner. Kozio finishes on brilliant 5th place for his performance. We'll see position changes. He's gone 2 places up, but he can definitely do better than what he said on the trials. Duta and Maciejczak are the only ones yet to finish a race and being on the same lap. Brilliant stuff. Rechulski, for some reason he was about to finish 5th, but he's now 11th. Some of the drivers are already leaving the session after crossing the line. They're just losing XP points they could buy sofa with or something like this. Sprinter gets 5-second time penalty for an outside penalty. We're about to finish the race, and we'll see the final thing that wonders me. Who's going to be ahead? Is it going to be Maciejczak, who has just to keep it clean on the final corner? He will keep it clean, and he will get the 3rd place. So we're just waiting for Trevorov, who's experienced a couple of spins today. Great defense from Kozio. Battle between Maciejczak and Duda ended up in the contact. Śmigowski v Curtin as well. There was something to watch in the Spanish Grand Prix. Also, we're having 3rd permanent ban of the season because, well, a driver has signed up then left. Bro. Serious? Anyway, that's how the Spanish Grand Prix ends, and we can see podium celebrations as Revan Curtin picks up a trophy for winning in Circuit de Catalunya. Alfa Romeo team is clapping because they know it's just as a social kind of race. Also, just in case you're wondering why there's nothing coming out of these champagne bottles, they're not empty. I just have particles off. Congratulations for the top 3. Congratulations to every driver who has finished or didn't finish the race. At least they tried. This is how it ends. Curtin, Śmigowski, Maciejczak, Duta, Kozio, Kan, Ashley Robinson, Richard Dekant, Mosuros, Dzikelewski, Rechulski, Herbert, Sferzniak, Besic, Martins, Trevorov, Maling, and Ivanek. The only 2 drivers who have not finished the race are both Aston Martins, which actually replicates the performance at the beginning of the season. How about the drivers who have not been lapped? There's only 4 of them. There's actually only 4 of the drivers who have not been lapped, including the leader. That's the difference. Anyway, we'll see if anyone is here for the press conference. So maybe just asking Maciejczak, Śmigowski, and Curtin press conference. Anyone? As I'm just jumping into the F1 conference room. Well, short summary of the race. Curtin, Śmigowski, everyone. Actually, Curtin, Śmigowski, nothing, everyone else. That's what we can say about it. As we have seen a bit of a story around this track. Also, we're having a first man on the press conference today, and it's Patrick Maciejczak on the third place. If you can say something or actually hear us.
Yep. Hello. How are you?
Uh, I'm actually fine after this after this debut drivers race. Well, apparently, what I can say, my throat is absolutely gone. That's all what I have to say.
Oh,
How
okay.
about your performance, though?
Okay, so I'm absolutely happy that this is finished already. It was so exhausting race, but I'm very happy for the result, and obviously, like I had some few contacts, and especially the race start. Even though the first two drivers that finished, sorry, I don't know the names, but they're absolutely rapid, and very grateful to race with them. But the start of the race, I think I was just faster than them, and just unlucky that I have contacted with the Le Matteo. So yeah, that was kind of unlucky thing. But overall, I'm very happy and very nice to participate in this race.
Also, what is your opinion about the incident with Jaiduta, which we have seen you having it?
Uh, I don't know. For now, it's like obviously I would say it's his fault, but maybe it was racing incident. As soon as I finished third, I'm not going into deep into that, but I think he shouldn't overtake in this kind of place. In this kind of place, but obviously he was faster than me in the rain because my setup. I haven't realized that it will be raining this race, so my setup was clear for a dry race. But yeah, he was much faster in the rain. But I think he should overtake me in a different position.
Yeah, that's what I also think about it because I have been actually watching this battle between you and Jai. Now we'll be moving into second place of Maciej Dziubowski. And I know probably what you're going to say because we have seen Blue Flags drama around here.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so annoying, these blue flags and these guys who don't respect that. And I don't know to say. It's ruined my whole race. I think I'm faster than Irvin in on inters, but these guys and Dirty are ruined my race, I think.
Well, how about the start though? Because we have gone on the first place instantly at the start and kept these tires going well indeed.
My start was not nothing special, I think, because I had wheel spin, a little bit of wheel spin, and after that I can put my throttle down and use ERS to save that position, and uh, and I think my race pace is not good today because I have some problems with session. My game crashed in quali, and my laps are very bad. I think second of pace of my pace. And what to say? And that whole race can be better, but I think on season I can show my pace.
Yeah, and we're having a bit of a teaser of possibly a fight between you and Evan Curtin, the winner of today's race, in the final standings. Maybe even a championship, but we'll see. You're definitely too out of touch in terms of pace because, wow, or I might have just said that incorrect, but what did I mean? You're just way faster than the rest of the field. Just imagine, Erwin has not lapped only you two on the podium, the others, and Jaiduta. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Erwin,
My engineer said that. I was shocked for the first time, and I hope so. I and Darwin might be we would battle. We will battle for a championship, but today we went for different strategies. I am faster earlier on race. He was faster before the rain start dropping off. And I don't know who's faster today, but Irvin win the race, won the race, and it's him today.
Yeah. Uh, so now it's time to move to Evan, the winner of today's Grand Prix, if you can hear us.
Yes, I'm here.
Well, you've also been somewhat ruined by the blue flags, right?
Yeah, the blue flag was very annoying at the start, but after passing the blue flag, it was good on the way.
Yeah. Continuing though, how about the start? Because we have seen you having a howler, like proper howler, dropping into 6. If you can speak a word about it.
Yeah, my start was so bad because I was on a hard tire and everyone behind me was on medium tire. And after 3 laps, I think I had pace on these tires, and it was good after.
Yeah. So, any more comments about today's race, or actually managing the tires to overtake Maciej later on?
Yeah, I was catching him because of the degradation of medium tire, and after the rain, I was on a good pace, I think.
Well, you've definitely teased us a little bit of a battle between you in the standings, and I'm definitely looking forward to it next races. The next month we're starting the season, and in a week we're having a grid reveal on PC. So these were the top 3 drivers in the order of Patrick, Maciej, Śmigowski, and Evan Curtin. The same order as no, in the reverse order as they finished the race, because Patrick was third, Maciej was second, and Evan was first. That is the end for today's live stream. There is some talks about PlayStation Pro Drivers Race soon being live, but we'll see about it. Not guaranteeing anything. If there is, 6 p.m. UK. About this race, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Unless you haven't, then subscribe to the channel and like this live stream apparently. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on the grid reveal. Goodbye.